Here's the shot. YouTube, welcome to the very first Q&A Sunday. So excited to get things rolling. You know why? Because you can ask me whatever you're thinking. Anytime you're watching my videos, what are you thinking in these videos? Please leave a comment, hit like, please subscribe if you haven't, because I've learned a lot over the years. And I've been involved with action sports for nearly 20 years now. And I'd love to help you out with anything I can. So we've started our own bike park, we've started our own shows, I've traveled around the world with my bike, I've been to contests, everything around action sports. And so I'd love to hear from you guys. And so one question I always get, and I feel like this is a perfect topic to kick this thing off, is how did you start your own skate park? Okay? I get this question all the time, and I think it's a great thing to talk about because we need more skate parks in this world. We do, and that's why we created our own. And it's been a lot of hard work. I can't even explain how much work it's been, but it's been the most incredible thing for our BMX scene here. And so we've got one other park. There's a few around Minnesota, but the main one over the years has been Third Layer. And I really want to thank Emrod and Mark and everyone, Trog, everyone involved with Third Layer over the years, because I grew up riding at Third. I grew up riding at a lot of other parks over the years. And so all these skate parks have changed my life. Some of them have been around for a year, 2 years, 5 years, but they all seem to shut down, okay? And so finally we got to the point where we said, okay, and Third Layer's always been around. I love going there, but Third Layer's owned by skateboarders, okay? And so there's a lot of different, I would say the majority of skate parks in general are owned by skateboarders. And thank them for what they do, otherwise we would have no skate parks, you know? And so I do hear a lot of people complain about, oh, they don't let bikes in, blah, 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 and you know, throw a fit about or whatever. And it's like, you can't look at it like that. These people are skateboarders and they built a skate park for themselves. This is their park. They can run it however they want, okay? So if you want to get in there and ride, well, figure out what can you do to help? What can you do to want them to want you there, you know? Maybe help out with this, or suggest, oh, what if we do like, can we help you with this and maybe we could ride? You never know, you know, what's the worst that can happen? They say no. So I tried to get a box jump at Third Layer for many years because we ride box jumps, and the stuff skateboarders ride isn't always what BMX riders ride. And so skaters don't always ride big box jumps, but BMX riders do. And so much more than skateboarders ride box jumps, obviously. So the idea behind our park was, okay, let's try to make a separate place where we have ramps that our scene just doesn't have. I used to have to go to Woodward. I used to have to go out of state to ride big ramps that I love riding, and we didn't have any around here. So that whole idea of just making our own place with the ramps that we don't have in here, at that point, no matter what park you go to in Minnesota, we'd have possibly everything you want to ride. Whether you want to ride street or bowls, you go to Third Layer. If you want to ride foam and resi, you go to the factory. And now that we've had it for over 6 years now. It's insane. It's incredible. We have nearly everything you could possibly want to ride, and the local talent here, the riding scene, is insane. It's dramatically changed, and it's crazy now because we've had it for 6 years now that it's almost like a normal thing. Like most parks when I was growing up shut down after 2 years. You know, Third Layer is one of the only exceptions. Third Layer's been around for probably going on 20 years now, and I would say there's such an exception because they're one of the only parks in the entire world that's been around that long, an indoor park like that. So thank you, Third Layer, thank you. And so how did we actually start the factory? How did we start our own park? I was living with Evan Moyle at the time, and Evan had I would say a dream to have a park, just like any other rider. We've all had dreams to have parks, but who is actually going to make it happen? So Evan and I were, talking about it for quite a while. I started looking into places, what we would actually have to do to make this happen. And one of the first things we did is we wanted to see who was interested in this idea, okay? Who's interested in having a bike-friendly park here in our scene? So honestly, I think there's old Facebook groups from years ago of kind of pitching this idea to our scene. So we literally asked everyone around, and I would say we asked hundreds of riders, like, hey, who's interested in our own bike park? Would you chip in for it? Would you chip in for it? What if we had keys for everybody and it was our own place? And so we had a lot of people show interest and say, that'd be cool. So we asked, like, okay, if we actually find a place and we sign our names on this lease, would you pay? And so it was funny when we were actually figuring out, like, what would we, based on how many people are interested in this, what would this actually cost? And honestly, the first numbers I believe were about $250 a month. That was kind of the first rough estimate based on how many people were interested, which actually originally when we asked everybody, I swear there were about 50 people who said, yeah, I'm down, okay. So we're thinking, okay, maybe if half of them actually follow through, we'd have about 25 people. So we're like, okay, that means, if we're all chipping in this, we have 25 people, like, this is kind of what we can afford and that much space and everything. So we start looking around. We found a few different places. One of them was kind of right in the middle of the city, which kind of made most sense because everyone would go there. We found a few that were, I would say, cheaper, but way outside of the city. One didn't even have a bathroom. And I'm trying to imagine going to a park with no bathroom. What do you do? And so we decided it would be best to stay closer to the middle of the city. Everyone who lives around the city, it's going to be best to be kind of in the center. That'd make most sense. And thank God that's what we did. So we went to look at this place, I would say maybe 4 or 5 times, and we were measuring stuff and trying to figure out exactly, is this what we want to do? We had to, if we were going to do this, we got to basically sign our lives away, Evan and myself, for the next, I believe we did a 3-year lease. So that means every single month, no matter what, Evan and I have to pay the rent. And so it was very scary, but if you want something if you want to make something like that happen, it's what you have to do. So we took the risk and signed our names. And in return, they gave us the first key to the factory. And so the place was totally empty, and we had the space. So then it's like, okay, what do we do now? Well, we need lumber, we need wood, we need studs, we need plywood, we need all that. So we order a massive order of lumber, and we start walking the first pieces into the factory. So then we realized, oh, rent is due. We gotta pay at the first of the month. So we go to all the riders and we say, we need money. Our rent is due and we have our keys now. So here's your key, but we need the money now. And so, remember, there's about 50 people, and we were guessing maybe 25 would follow through. There was literally about 5 people at the start who actually followed through with what they said and chipped in for their key at the factory. So since day one, that entirely threw us off. And we started building the ramps. It took, I would say, 2 to 3 weeks to actually get, we started with a 10-foot quarter, 5.5 foot tall box, 2 7-foot quarters, and a 5.5 foot launch into a foam pit that was only, believe it or not, 9 feet wide. It's 12 right now. So we were like in a tiny little space. So our whole thing was, Evan and I both believe in, is crawl, walk, run. Start small and go from there. If it works, you know, see what happens at the time, see how it happens. So thankfully, that's the direction we headed, because we had 5 people chipping in. So that killed us from day one. And then a month later, we had some ramps. And we had, I would say, a couple others join. And then that first winter, I think we maxed out at maybe just over 10 different key holders for that first winter. So once that summer came, we were like freaking out. I mean, then, because when summer came, half of those riders didn't want to be there or didn't want to chip in for it. So that's the reason most of these skate parks in general just can't make it, is summers. No one wants to be there. No one wants to chip in for it. And so with Evan and I signing that lease for the next 3 years, we were screwed. Every month we had to pay for that. And so we ended up, this is probably a whole nother video later, but we ended up starting our own shows to help fund the place. And it was a nightmare. And it's been so much work, I can't even tell you. But the passion we have for riding and what we do totally overpowers any of that. And the place has been an absolute dream come true. And we've learned a lot. You know, we had to get insurance for all that. We had to get waivers. We had to get tools to build everything. Just, there's so many things you don't realize what goes into all these skate parks. And so I have a whole nother respect now for anyone, not only that owns a park, but that even runs it and does all the day-to-day things, because it does not end. I can't believe how much garbage people create. I mean, there's so many things, just maintenance in general. And so anyone who's interested in doing something like this, you got to be passionate about it. You got to go into it with passion. Skate parks don't make money. They all shut down. I would say 99% of every skate park, indoor skate park that's ever been around, shuts down. And so you got to go into it with passion. Evan and I both have full-time jobs, and so we were not relying on it for anything. As we needed to put more money and cover rent, we just made sure that we worked extra hard on our normal jobs to make sure we could, you know, get through that summer or that year, depending on how many people were there. The next summer, we had a few more people. It's taken quite a few years for, you know, everyone kind of, the BMX, the core scene, knew about it pretty quick, but it took quite a long time for, you know, the city to find out about it, and kind of outside of your core riders to actually find out about it. So it's been nuts. And when you look back over all the years, it's just like, it's seriously incredible. And I think one of the coolest things is just everything we've learned and all the people we've met and just the family we've created. I have a blast every time I go there. It's the energy and the vibes and everything. It's not a normal park. It is a smaller family type facility, and it's seriously a dream come true. And so, anyways, that's kind of a rough rundown of how and why we started the factory. And I feel like I need to share some of that with you guys because I get questions about it all the time, and now you kind of know a little background behind it, and it's just seriously been incredible. So anyone who is interested in doing it, you know, feel free to leave other questions and stuff like that, but I highly suggest doing it, because riding wise, it's changed my whole life. And my whole thing with riding is it's balanced everything out in life. I can have the worst day in the world, go ride my bike. I can have the best day in the world, go ride my bike. Everything's all good. So riding has just been incredible for me. And I try to imagine the last, you know, over 6 years now without the factory. And it's hard to even think like what what would I have been doing over these years? You know, what else would I have learned or done, or you know, would I have gone to less BMX events or contests, or would my riding have been different, or would I be like total core street dude because we had still have no box jump, you know? No idea, seriously no idea. But I do know that without the factory, I wouldn't have met, you know, half the people I now consider some of my closest friends. And I've seriously had a blast with this over the years. And honestly, that is another piece that has been challenging over the years, is dealing with friends and then money and collecting. And I would say it's hurt a few relationships in the past, and it sucks because like every single month we got to make sure rent's due. And so friends and money is not a great area to be in, but how else do you make it happen? You know, at the end of the day, we do have an incredible facility now, and I want to thank anyone who's even stepped in there, anyone who's taken a photo in there, anyone who's had a session, or brought their parents, brought a friend out, brought a date out, whatever. There's so many stories there, and great people that I just want to thank you guys again. And so anyone who is curious about the factory in general, every week now, every Friday is going to be Factory Fridays. So we're going to be posting a new video filmed right at the factory every single Friday. So you can tune in and see what's actually going on out there. I know we've got a lot of stuff in the works. The place is totally transformed. We've got a whole new trail side. I know we've got new lights going in soon, like LED lights. There's a lot of stuff happening out there. And if you guys want to stay kind of in touch with what we're doing, please click subscribe, because we are doing a lot out of the factory right now. I think that's gonna wrap up our first Q&A Sunday. If you have any questions, let me know, and you know, maybe I'll give you a few topics in this one, maybe some suggestions on things we could talk about. One would be, I'm actually curious to know, what is your favorite video I've ever uploaded? I'm very curious about that. I'd love to hear about that. Maybe I'm always curious about where you guys are from. You know, are you from Minnesota? Are you from another state? Are you from another country? Let me know. I definitely want to hear more about you guys and where you're from. And you know, any questions about any of your local skate parks or things you can do and stuff like that, let me know. So thanks again so much. If you liked the video, please click like and leave a comment. So, and any new subscribers, click subscribe. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of the weekend here. Q&A Sunday, and we will see you again next week. Boom, baby.
Try up.
Hold on. YouTube, I'm serious right now. We're a team here. Put a lot of time in these videos for you guys. Click like, hit subscribe, leave a comment. I've got Instagram, Snapchat, all that stuff. Give me a follow. And if you want a shirt, place an order. We'll send it to you. Thanks again. Let's ride. Boom, baby.